Peace, family. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I'm deciding to do something new on my channel because I've been requested to do it so many times. I said, well, why not I just do some movie reviews? Like, I go to the movies, I guess probably because I work overnight, so I usually go to a matinee when I get off of work. So I get off work at like 8:30. I get to the city. I live in New York, in case you didn't know, about 9 o'clock. Theater opens at 9:30. They usually have a show showing, well, anywhere from 9 to 9:30. They have a show showing at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And so I try to catch the matinees around that time. I haven't been doing it in a while, but lately, since the summer movies have been coming out, I decided, to go and see some movies that I wanted to see. Of course, Iron Man 3 is one of them. I saw some other movies too that I wanted to see, but this particular review is going to deal with Iron Man 3. Now, overall, this is my assessment of the Iron Man 3 movie. As a standalone movie, it was great. It was entertaining, good storytelling. Um, you got to see more Tony Stark than you did Iron Man. I know a lot of people complain about that, but to me, that was what the problem was with the second movie and why I love the first movie. The first movie you get to see how ingenious Tony Stark is and how resourceful he is, given nothing. Like he can take nothing and make something out of it. And I think that that's what made the first Iron Man so good. You got to see the progression of him. And then when he finally got to the level where he can get his toys correct, then you have what we have now. I like that. I like the fact that it took him and took away all his resources, and it kind of harked back to the first one. Now I do like the director Shane Black because I love the film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Um, as a standalone movie, had no problem with the Shane Black stamp on it. No problem. I like him as a filmmaker. I like his style. I think his comedic style is very good, and this was a very funny movie. You know, it had a lot of humor in it. Oh, this also has spoilers, by the way. So don't get mad. I can't do a review without talking about the movie. So screw it. This is spoilers. If you don't want to hear anything about what happens in the storyline, stop the video. And when you see the movie, then come back and watch it. But this has spoilers. Um, I know a lot of people complain about the twist. Some people loved it, some people hated it. Now, what is the twist? The twist is in the story, you get introduced to the Mandarin, this character of the Mandarin. And the way that the Mandarin is in the movie is sort of like a hybrid of a bunch of terrorist iconic group. I can't even say the word. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of different terrorist, um, like visuals and stuff. Like this guy is like a hybrid of Castro, Saddam, um, Osama bin Laden. It's like all of this imagery and visuals is attached to this character, the Mandarin. Now, as it turns out, in the movie, the Mandarin is just a made-up character, and the guy who's really behind the Mandarin is the bad guy, the real bad guy. Now, some people who are purists to the comic book had a really big issue with it, and it pissed some people off. This is what I have to say about it. I'm a comic book fan. I was never really an Iron Man comic book fan. As a matter of fact, I think that the screen movie version of Iron Man blows the comic book away, in my opinion. I was never an Iron Man comic book fan. And when Iron Man was first coming out, when they said they were going to do Iron Man, I was like, okay, Iron Man. Like, why would you do that? Then when I saw the first costume design, I was like, whoa. And then when I heard that they picked Robert Downey Jr. to play Tony Stark, I was like, oh no, now I gotta see it. Because I knew that he was gonna kill it before everybody else apparently knew it. I don't understand what the big shock was, because if you knew anything about Robert Downey Jr., you would know that he fit Tony Stark to a T. So, but the reason why I say this is I don't know any person who is a Mandarin fan. Now I read comic books, and the Mandarin in the comic books is like some Fu Manchu character. And keep in mind, I don't really know a lot about the Mandarin. I know the Mandarin, but I'm not into all of the ins and outs of the Mandarin. But to try to translate that character as a villain into a current setting, I just don't see how you can do it. And they did it as best as you could, like just with the whole costume and the whole Asian, Middle Eastern, Islamic hybrid feel that he had to him. It was over the top, and it was ridiculous to begin with. So the fact that people are pissed off is that that guy, that made up image was not the real bad guy, is really confusing to me. If anything, you got to give the credit to Shane Black for having some balls to actually do that, and for Marvel to allow him to do that. But Marvel had the same take on the Mandarin that I did. It's like, I didn't, about Magneto, about Doctor Doom, about these characters and these moments. What do you really know about the Mandarin? You know what I'm saying? And to try to bring that type of character, some Asian Fu Manchu character, into this day and times, it's not going to play. It's just simply not going to play. And maybe if this was going somewhere toward Avengers 2, I would say then yeah, I would probably be pissed. But that's not what pissed me off about the movie at all. And as far as I'm concerned, from the beginning to the end, it was entertaining. I was engaged, and it was a good time. Was it a great movie? No. Was it a good movie? Yeah. Was it entertaining? Yes. Wasn't great. Now, what did I not like about the movie? It was disappointing to me if you consider it a first installment of Marvel's second phase leading to the Avengers, because that's what I've always heard, and that's what it's always been referred to. This is Marvel's second phase leading up to the Avengers. It was a big disappointment in that regard. And why do I say that? Well, for one, um, it was totally, there was nothing in this movie that would give you an indication of where Marvel is going with the Avengers 2. Nothing. This movie was a standalone movie. And it was, and in that sense, I guess maybe their marketing is what pissed me off, because if they were to present it as just a standalone movie, I don't think people would have a problem with it. But when you say, oh, this is Marvel's first film on the second phase leading up to the Avengers, and then you go and see it, and then you're like, well, damn, what happened? And at the very end, you figure they're going to have a scene like they did in Iron Man, the first Iron Man, where you see the scene and you go, oh shit, this is what's coming next. The scene that they had at the end of Iron Man 3 was sort of like the throwaway scene that they had at the end of the Avengers. You know, was it funny? Yeah. Was it amusing? Yeah. But at the end of it, you go, okay, what was that all about? And I'm talking about where you find out that Tony Stark was basically, the whole movie was talking to Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner was sitting down, and Bruce Banner's falling asleep while Tony's talking to him and whatever, and it's funny and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? What does that have to do with the Avengers 2? So there was nothing in this movie that made me go, oh wow, that Avengers, man, I can't wait to see Avengers 2. Nothing. It's totally disconnected from whatever Marvel's going to do in that second phase. So to try to promote it as the second phase leading to the Avengers, that's what pissed me off, and that's what disappointed me. So at the end of it, yeah, I liked it, but also I walked out the theater feeling a little bit let down and a little bit disappointed. And that's how my overall assessment is of the movie. Um, a lot of people are going to trash it because of the Mandarin thing. I actually thought it was funny. It threw me for a loop, and after it threw me for a loop, I wasn't mad. I was just laughing. I didn't feel that took away from the movie. As a matter of fact, I felt it added to the movie, to be honest with you, because it showed some balls, and I like that. I liked when you can flip the thing on top of his head and give people what they want, but not quite the way that they want it. I didn't have a problem with it from a storytelling angle. I know a lot of people had problems with the kid, and to be honest with you, Robert Downey Jr. carried the kid. I think that if you could have put any kid in there with Robert Downey Jr. and he would have done the same thing. I don't think that the kid was that important in that interaction. I think that they could have put any kid with Tony Stark, and he would, like it wouldn't have changed the movie in any way, shape, or form. That's not to take away from the kid that they did pick. He was adequate. He was okay, but it wasn't like he was so memorable that I don't even know what the kid's name is. But from that perspective, and that shows you how great Robert Downey Jr. is, because usually kids steal the scene. Nobody steals the scene from Tony Stark, so you don't have to worry about that. One more thing that did bother me. I felt like they kind of trashed Iron Man's armor. Like at the end of that movie, his armor was there was so many Iron Mans and so many armors flying around, and it's like the main bad guy was just trashing him. Like every like the main bad guys, his underlings were trashing all of the armors. Anytime somebody got their hands on it, they would quickly destroy it. And I felt that kind of took away from Iron Man as a concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, damn, if you can destroy his armor that much, and then at the very end of the movie, um, he's not the one who actually takes the bad guy out. It's Pepper Potts using one of his armors. So I don't know that her taking the guy out at the end didn't bother me. I think that um, it kind of fit where the storyline was and where it was going. But it kind of made, Iron Man just look kind of weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't trash his armor that quickly. I mean, he's called Iron Man for a reason. But that's nothing that's gonna make me say don't go see the movie. I think that you should go and see it. I think you'll have a good time when you go and see it. Most people that go and see it aren't going to be Iron Man fanboys or Mandarin fanboys, so I really could care less what the hardcore fans feel about the Mandarin character, because most hardcore fans expect you to just translate the movie straight from the comic book into the movie. Like, they don't want you to do any variation. And my thing is, it makes it boring for me to go and see a movie. It's just like with The Walking Dead. I've read The Walking Dead graphic novel. What makes me love the show so much is that I don't know what's going to happen. I know the characters, I know the overarching storyline, but I don't know from episode to episode what the next thing is going to be. And I like that. Because what's the point in just, if you're going to do it panel for panel like the comic book, then why make a movie? The movie should be different and have a different feel to it than the comic book does. But that's just my opinion. So that's my Iron Man 3 movie review. As a matter of fact, this is my first. No, is it? No, my second. I did the Django Unchained, but that wasn't really a review. But I guess this is my second movie review. But anyway, that's it. This was 13 minutes longer than what I thought it would be. So let me get out of here. Peace. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. One.